Brothers and sisters, today I bring you a story that will make your heart race and lift your eyes in wonder. Imagine a 25-year-old young man, a motorcycle speeding through the night, a life moving too fast. But beware, this is no ordinary tale. Vincent Lafargue, this young man, dares to challenge God. "Stop me!" And God? God answers. A voice calling him, a crash that shatters everything, and then a chain of coincidences proving the presence of the Lord. It's a journey beyond life, beyond death, touching the very light of God. This is the true story of Vincent Lafargue, a man who saw the afterlife and returned to tell us about it. Stay with me until the end, because what I am about to reveal to you could change the way you see your own existence. It was the evening of November 14th, 2000, a date Vincent now calls his second birthday. Vincent Lafargue was a 25-year-old Swiss man, full of energy, living a life at full speed. He juggled 3 jobs: radio host, teacher, and actor. An intense routine that kept him constantly on the move, but that evening, as he stopped at a red light, he had a profound reflection. With music playing in his headphones, Vincent pauses for a moment and looks inside himself. "I'm going too fast," he thinks. "I'm doing too many things. I want to slow down, but I don't know how." Then, almost as a challenge, he turns to God. "If you really exist, if you're so intelligent, why don't you stop me?" He doesn't expect an answer, but he gets one. A gentle, benevolent, distinct voice rises above the music in his headphones. "Are you truly aware of what you're asking me?" it asks. Vincent, almost in a trance, replies, "Yes." The voice repeats the question, and again he says, "Yes." The traffic light turns green. Vincent accelerates on his motorcycle, unaware that he is speeding towards a moment that will change everything. Just 100 meters ahead, fate strikes. A car comes directly at him. There's no escape. An optical illusion on that stretch of road prevents both drivers from seeing each other. The impact is devastating. Vincent is traveling at about 80 kilometers per hour, 50 miles per hour. The car at the same speed. It's like crashing into a wall at 160 kilometers per hour, 100 miles per hour. Everything happens in half a second. The motorcycle crumples. Vincent is thrown into the air, his body slamming onto the asphalt in a pool of blood. The driver of the car, a woman who would later become his friend, gets out, devastated, convinced she has killed him. Vincent's helmet is destroyed, his body motionless. It looks like the end. But God had other plans. Here is where what Vincent calls providential coincidences come into play. The woman had a cell phone with her. Back in 2000, that wasn't so common. Panicked, she calls the police instead of an ambulance, convinced there's nothing left to do for Vincent. But this seemingly random choice turns out to be crucial. A medical patrol from the police, by pure grace, happens to be just 2 minutes away from the crash site. They arrive immediately, while an ambulance, stuck in traffic miles away, would never have made it in time. The paramedics find Vincent in critical condition, weak breathing, blood everywhere, broken bones. They rush him into their vehicle and speed off to Geneva's hospital. When he arrives at the emergency room, Vincent is a man on the brink of death. His condition is dire, multiple fractures, especially in his pelvis, making any movement impossible. But there's something even worse, a massive internal hemorrhage, silent and unnoticed at first. Blood is filling his abdomen, and with each passing second, he edges closer to the abyss. The doctors work frantically, but the situation is out of control. Yet God does not abandon him. By another incredible coincidence, an off-duty doctor is still at the hospital. He has finished his shift and is near a coffee machine, perhaps trying to recover from a long day. As he walks past the emergency room, he sees Vincent being rushed in, a young man, pale, covered in blood. Something urges him to stop. Suspicious, he asks to see the x-rays. His intuition saves Vincent's life. He discovers the internal bleeding, a silent killer that was about to take him forever. "Get him to the operating room immediately," he orders. There's not a second to lose. Vincent is rushed to surgery, but just as they reach the entrance of the operating room, the worst happens. His heart stops. The hemorrhagic shock overwhelms him. For the doctors, he is clinically dead. No heartbeat, no life. The monitor emits that flat, chilling sound. The medical team refuses to give up. They begin resuscitation, chest compressions, defibrillator. It's a race against time. But in that moment of darkness, as his body lies lifeless, Vincent experiences something beyond human comprehension. Vincent recounts those moments with breathtaking clarity. "It's more vivid than any other memory," he says. Suddenly, he feels light. He sees himself from above, as if his soul has left his body. He observes a chaotic scene, an injured man on a stretcher, frantic doctors, a continuous beep signaling a stopped heart. "I was worried about that person," he recalls. "I didn't realize it was me." There is no fear, no pain, just absolute peace, a well-being he had never known before. Then everything changes. He feels something pulling him. He turns, and instead of the operating room ceiling, he sees a light. That famous light, he calls it. Immense, more powerful than the sun, yet not blinding. "It was attractive," he explains. "It was calling me." Vincent sees no figures, no faces, yet he feels a presence. A love so immense, so real that he instantly understands. It is God. "It wasn't just a light," he says. "It was a person." He floats toward it, wrapped in a peace that seems eternal, even though in real time it lasts less than a minute. But that moment of grace ends abruptly. Something pulls him back, and Vincent is slammed into his body. His heart restarts, the doctors cheer, but for him it's an agony. The pain of his injuries returns all at once, excruciating, unbearable. "It was the worst moment of my life," he confesses, "even though it meant I was alive." As he recovers in the following days, Vincent is confused. He doesn't immediately remember what happened, but something even more extraordinary is about to confirm his experience. A hospital chaplain visits him. At first, Vincent ignores him, overwhelmed by pain and medication, yet the priest does not give up. He returns every week, patiently offering words of comfort. "God does not send evil," he tells him one day, "but sometimes he allows it for our freedom. He is with you on this cross." Those words plant a seed in Vincent's heart. When he finally regains full consciousness, he begins to share what he saw. He describes the operating room to the doctors, the resuscitation maneuvers, a conversation between the surgeon and a nurse, a number written on a wall, even the name on a badge of an assistant. The surgeon stares at him in shock. "You couldn't have known these things," he says. "Your heart was stopped." Every detail, confirmed one by one, convinces Vincent this was no dream. He had truly seen beyond. But the extraordinary events are not over yet. Returning to life is not easy. Vincent undergoes major surgeries, faces a long and painful recovery. But that minute of near death marks him forever. He doesn't change immediately. His transformation is slow, a journey. Once out of the hospital, he starts searching for answers. For 2 years, he studies the world's religions, from Buddhism to Islam, thirsty to understand what had happened to him. Then, one day, during a visit from the Dalai Lama in Switzerland, he hears something that strikes him. "Rediscover the beauty of your religion." Those words bring him back to his Catholic roots. Shortly after, another sign. On the radio, his old passion, he listens to a cultural program. An elderly speaker talks about poetry, art, and cinema with such passion that it captivates him. He later discovers that the man is a priest. Shocked, he contacts him. In a phone call, he suddenly finds himself confessing, "I feel that God is calling me to the priesthood." It is the beginning of a new path. Vincent enters the seminary in 2002. In 2010, he is ordained a priest in the Diocese of Sion, Switzerland. He becomes a hospital chaplain, close to the sick, just like that priest who never abandoned him. Years later, he discovers an incredible detail. The chaplain who had guided him in the hospital is the same one he meets in seminary, and in 2019, that very priest passes the torch to him as chaplain in Rena. "The Lord knows how to be resolute when he calls," he says with a smile. Today, Father Vincent lives to bear witness. Every November 14th, he celebrates his second birthday, thanking God for that second chance. His experience has left him with 3 certainties. He no longer fears death, he wants to serve others, and he has chosen to radically change his life. "I have seen that there is something beyond," he says, "and that love has a name, God." Brothers and sisters, Father Vincent's story reminds us that God is near, even in the darkest moments. His light is real, his love is tangible. If this story has moved you, don't let it end here. Subscribe to the channel, share this video with someone who needs hope, and let us know in the comments what touched you the most. Your voice can ignite a light for others. May God bless you and see you soon.